Hello people, it's a Secret Anime Fan here. Today's video is a review, discussion, recap, however you want to name it. Hey, let's go with all three of My Hero Academia 222. I'm going to be discussing the event, so expect spoilers. Okay, I'm going to start off with Spinner, as I ended my last chapter review on Spinner, I think. Now, I was wondering why Spinner had the reaction at the end of the last chapter. I was thinking either Spinner was agreeing with the doctor that Shigaraki was worthless, or he was feeling sorry for him since their recent past argument in the last couple of chapters, I think it was. It seems it was the latter, as we see a panel in this chapter with Spinner's reaction and the time they had at that argument. But it could also be he's not just feeling a bit sorry for him, as Shigaraki tells his story and learns of his story and stuff like that, and his background and things like that. I think you can see Spinner feels a connection with Shigaraki. If you remember in chapter 220, page 12, I believe, Spinner talked about his loneliness and emptiness, and Shigaraki during this chapter pretty much says the same thing. They both feel weighed down or suffocated by one thing or another, and they both feel this anger within themselves. Now, what I don't get is in chapter 220, Shigaraki, during the argument, says to Spinner, I told you already. When Spinner asks, what are we going, or what are we doing, and where are we heading, what's the plan, and so forth. So has Shigaraki already said to Spinner what we find out in this chapter? That being chapter 220, of course, or is this the first time Spinner is hearing Shigaraki's story and the plan he has in mind? The plan being Shigaraki basically will destroy everything, every living thing on the planet pretty much, which is a pretty dark if you think of all the innocent things in the world. I'm going to expand on this further on in the review, but let's briefly return to Spinner's reaction. My thoughts are Spinner has heard this story from Shigaraki before, the whole I want to destroy everything, but he hasn't heard of Shigaraki's background story before, and now it all makes sense for Spinner, and it's just clicked in his mind that Shigaraki wants the same thing as him, and now he believes that Shigaraki is someone he can truly follow. Maybe not the exact same thing, different ideals, but they want the same thing. Plus, he must think, damn, Shigaraki had it worse off than me. And with this, it could be seen that now everyone in the League of Villains now truly believes in Shigaraki. Or kind of, I'll mention that in a minute. And any seed of doubt or chance of disloyalty has been closed off by Horikoshi. Now, will we see a betrayal from within? Perhaps, but Horikoshi can just throw out a betrayal there if he so wanted to. But as I said, I like to think that this has been closed off with the events of this chapter, although Toga does say, are you going to destroy even the things that I like? But yet again, Horikoshi confirms what I was thinking when Shigaraki says, my allies are the exception, they can let the things they like live. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section. Now, could we see a conflict if Shigaraki changes his mind and at some point we see a Toga betrayal, perhaps when Shigaraki wants to destroy Deku, for example? Because if I remember correctly, Toga really likes Deku. Plus, Dabi seems like he could be disloyal as well, where he even says in this chapter, I'm going to do what's best for me. So perhaps my point isn't as solid as I first thought. Anyway, that's just some food for thought, so let's move on. So it turns out the Doctor also believes that Shigaraki is someone he can follow and finds his ambitions hilarious and calls them a child fantasy, which normally you would think or would assume would be the opposite. You would have the opposite reaction, that a person wouldn't want to follow someone who has a child fantasy. But the doc seems amused by the whole thing. I bet he's just thinking, I want to just go along with this ride and see how it turns out. All in all, it was an interesting reaction. It shows a little glimpse into the doc's personality. Plus, it also turns out the doctor was just playing with their heads all along, and the more of I see of this doc, the more I like him. So he had no intention of not helping the League of Villains, and he just wanted to see how Shigaraki has developed. So yeah, yet again, we're seeing what kind of character this doctor is. It turns out the Doc is going to lend the League of Villains all the advanced Nomu he's been working on. I'm really interested in how these new Nomu even will be different and how OP they will be, or if they will be OP. Like, how many quirks can they hold? Let me know in the comment section what you think of these new Nomu. Okay, let's talk about this special power the Doctor has up his sleeve, his special gift, I think it was. Maybe it was a special power. Now, does he mean for it to just be for Shigaraki, or for all League members? Because at one point it seems like he just means Shigaraki, but moments later it kind of feels like it's for all the members. Maybe it will just benefit all the members. We find that the Doctor has one condition for his full recuperation, and that is, yep, You guessed it, to make Giganto, Mashir, I think he was called, tame and gain his trust and cooperation. And boy, oh boy, I can't wait for this. It's going to be a complete mess, I can just tell. Complete mess of a fight. It will hopefully provide some action fan service for all you fight lovers out there. And it seems like Shigaraki is going to get serious. At one point he says he's even motivated, and that must be the first time we've ever heard him say that. Anyway, as I did say last chapter, that it seemed he wasn't going fully out last chapter, and I was wondering why he didn't just decay part of Giganto. But I came to the conclusion, one, he probably couldn't get close to Giganto, and two, he is a present after all. Not a very good present at the moment, but he will when they tame him. But yeah, he is a present, and he just didn't want to destroy a present. Maybe we'll see with this new change of mind, he'll change his mind and he'll go full out next chapter. Now, there's one point that made me laugh when Shigaraki said, "I've got to say, this sure has been a long tutorial," probably echoing some of the reader's thoughts on this whole conversation. And maybe some of you's thoughts on this video. I don't know how long this video is going on at the moment. Just a joke, of course. It just reminded me of when playing a video game with a long and tedious tutorial. So all that talk last chapter of me praising Dabi for seemingly being the one to not give up on fighting Giganto, for him just this chapter to be like, nah, I'm done fighting that thing. And I like Toga's reaction. She's just like, "You're salty, your flames had no effect on him." Not in them words, but that's the gist I got. And she just basically roasted Dabi. But at least Dabi is actually going to go do something. And he's not just being a wuss over the whole Giganto thing. He's going to follow his lead on the good person he found to join the League of Villains, that is. Now, I wonder what kind of crazy person he's going to bring back for the League, and I'm just left wondering, for one, what kind of power will they have, and will they be OP or overpowered? And secondly, what kind of character and personality will they have? It's bound to be unique, and I'm just thinking of all the anime I've seen with villains in it to deduce potential character tropes they might have. I kind of just wish I had a little machine I could use to do this, but sadly I have to rely on my brain, and I actually have a bit more thoughts on the person he's going to bring back, but more on that in a second. And I can't be the only one who was a little bit freaked out by John, for one. That's a weird name for a Nomu. And yeah, to one, have his name be John, and it's just his appearance. So yeah, it just creeped me out a bit. It reminded me a bit of the Chimera from Full Metal Alchemist, but little old John debunks the theories that the black liquid quirk belongs to the Doctor. Turns out it was just good old John's quirk. But it brings up the question, does the Doctor have a Nomu that can steal people's quirks? Seems plausible, especially now we see that a Nomu can be pretty small. So maybe he just hides it in a machine or box to hide it, and then he steals quirks with it somehow along the lines of that. Let me know what you think of that in the comment section. Now, we see Destro make a little cameo at the end whilst we are on topic of Destro. Could he be the person that Dabi has in mind for recruiting to the League of Villains? I think this is the most likely situation. If not Destro directly, then one of the other members of the Superpower Liberation Army. And so this could mean, or probably would mean, that Dabi is walking into a trap set by Destro, and could we see some kind of rescue arc for Dabi? And perhaps it will be Deku who is the one, when things all unfold, who will come to save Dabi, not on purpose, mind you, just when all the things kick off, when the Liberation Army probably inevitably are going to clash with Part A and everyone else. And if Dabi is imprisoned, then Deku's duty would be to save him, even if he was to be imprisoned Dabi straight after. Now, I want to briefly talk about the last page, which left me a little bit of confusion on just what the hell is that thing. Firstly, we see a finger on top of what is connected to a bag of sorts, maybe. Is this like Cell's power in Dragon Ball Z, something that sucks people up and absorbs them, which I will probably, I'm guessing, take their quirk? Or is it just like a pile of something left over from a human, maybe? And it's related to Destro's quirk? It kind of looks like a pile of concrete on the other hand as well. Either way, it has caught my interest, to say the least. Okay, time to expand on my thoughts of Shigaraki's past and plan. First of all, it was interesting to get more info on his past, although we pretty much knew all of this pretty much already. Of course, there was new things revealed, but yeah. You can't help but feel a little sorry for him, shame for him to turn into what he did, but you know, that's kind of all for one's fault as well. Yeah, all for one definitely didn't help in that factor of what Shigaraki has become, and for sure he saved him, or for sure he saved Shigaraki, but at the same time he saved him from like a life of torment and being homeless. Clear, all for one, is a master manipulator and introducing him to the doc and triggering some memories of him killing his family. Some dark stuff right there. He can't really be seen as a good father figure or whatever. And oh god, the poor old dog. Whatever did the dog do to Shigaraki? I wonder. And why, oh why, oh why does the doc just happen to have on hand the hands of his family on hand? Get it? Bad jokes aside though, has it actually been explained what benefit having the hands have for Shigaraki? I'm a bit rusty in My Hero Academia lore, but it seems, I can't quite remember if they have any effect. I don't think it has been stated already, so yeah. But I think this is the first reveal of what they actually are, or at least where they are from, aside from the previously hinted dad comment that made people rightly assume it was his hand. I wonder if he's right-handed or left-handed. Okay. Enough of the bad hand jokes. Now, the doctor having them, I can only assume he has done something to them, which may in the future give Shigaraki a power boost somehow. Now, what I'm about to say will be likely annoy people, and it will be kind of a reach, I suppose, as I keep harping on about it, but yet, you guessed it, what if each hand contains the quirks of his family members? And the gift he will give Shigaraki is the key to be able to harness their quirks. And think about it, this will kind of reflect the two Deku and Shigaraki. And if you think about it, the ends of like the hands have two opening or ports connectors, however you want to name it. Why two though? Will the doctor give him something to connect all of them together? And yes, I'm aware some of them are already connected together through like the little pipe things, but perhaps when they are all connected together somehow, then all the quirks of his family are able to be unlocked and harnessed. All in all, it was nice to see, I don't know if that's the correct word, but it was nice to see the whole story of Shigaraki and his ambitions fully, finally, and revealed and explained. Okay, just one more thing before I finish the whole review thing. There's a comment about you developed a mutation quirk that was unheard of, that Doc said. Firstly, could this indicate that Shigaraki was originally quirkless like Deku, and perhaps All for One gave him his quirk? That would be interesting, and the whole not knowing about killing his family, did All for One or the Doctor alter his memory to not remember this, just for him to remember it again? Or perhaps they are false memories and All for One killed his family and implanted them fragmented memories into Shigaraki? Just maybe, but who knows? All for One even says, even if your memories don't return, these emotions should still be clinging to your heart. So maybe he didn't do that to his family, but yeah, who knows? That aside, why was it unheard of? Isn't Shigaraki's quirk pretty similar to Overhaul? I can't believe it was that unheard of to have a quirk that decays things. I don't know, it just makes me wonder why. Why was this statement made? And it kind of makes me wonder if there's more to this statement and Shigaraki in general. Plus, aren't a lot of quirks unheard of? There must be quirks that are unheard of in story or universe. Saying that though, the doc does say shall I tinker with him, and All for One actually says no, so maybe what I just said is unlikely. I want people's opinion or something. Was there something in the darkness on page 11, or is that just me? Or was it just the gnome called John making his way to the dock? Or was it the gift he has in waiting? And maybe it's just another person or supporter of All for One's will. Now I'll end this review with a reaching statement. The doc says you must obtain the things you desire with your own hands. Is this foreshadowing that Shigaraki's hands will play a part in his power growth? Anyway, that's it for this video. If there's anything I've missed, let me know in the comment section. Or if you just want to talk about the chapter, let me know in the comment section as well. I do anime character stories / overviews on my channel if you're interested in that. I'm doing theories as well, and at the moment I'm doing One Piece, The Promised Neverland manga reviews, and any other ongoing manga. To be honest, please like and subscribe, and see ya!